Welcome to English Bridge. Whether you're just starting or have some experience, we're here to help you. We'll explore 50 words that describe feelings and moods in simple ways. You'll learn what they mean, see how they're used in everyday situations, find similar words, and get lots of examples to help you understand better. Let's dive in. Anxious. Anxious is an adjective. Anxious means feeling nervous, worried, or uneasy, often about something with an uncertain outcome. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt anxious, such as before an important exam or interview. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as anxious include nervous, worried, apprehensive, and uneasy. Example sentences: She was anxious about the upcoming job interview, fearing tough questions. His anxious expression revealed his unease before the big presentation. Apathetic. Apathetic is an adjective. Apathetic means showing a lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern about something, often due to a feeling of indifference. Real-life scenario: imagine a situation where someone might be described as apathetic, like a student who shows no interest in their studies. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as apathetic include indifferent, uninterested, disinterested, and unconcerned. Example sentences: She appeared apathetic during the discussion, not participating or showing any enthusiasm. His apathetic response to the news of the event's cancellation surprised everyone. Bitter. Bitter is an adjective. Bitter means feeling a strong, unpleasant, and resentful emotion, often associated with disappointment or resentment. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt bitter, such as after a bitter argument with a friend. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as bitter include resentful, angry, disappointed, and sour. Example sentences: She became bitter after her close friend betrayed her trust. His bitter tone revealed his lingering resentment over the past disagreement. Cheerful. Cheerful is an adjective. Cheerful means feeling happy and optimistic, often displaying a positive and joyful attitude. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt cheerful, perhaps after receiving good news or spending time with loved ones. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as cheerful include happy, joyful, upbeat, and lively. Example sentences: Her cheerful demeanor brightened up the room during the celebration. He couldn't help but feel cheerful after achieving his long-awaited goal. Content. Content is an adjective. Content means feeling satisfied and at ease with one's current situation or circumstances. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt content, such as when you're comfortably reading a good book on a rainy day. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as content include satisfied, happy, fulfilled, and pleased. Example sentences: She felt content with the simple joys of life, like a warm cup of tea and a cozy blanket. After achieving his goals, he was content with his career and life choices. Disappointed. Disappointed is an adjective. Disappointed means feeling let down or unsatisfied due to unmet expectations or hopes. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt disappointed, such as when plans fell through or a long-awaited event didn't meet your expectations. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as disappointed include let down, unhappy, frustrated, and dismayed. Example sentences: She was disappointed when her favorite band cancelled their concert. His disappointed expression revealed that the gift didn't meet his expectations. Ecstatic. Ecstatic is an adjective. Ecstatic means feeling an overwhelming sense of joy and happiness, often to the point of euphoria. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt ecstatic, such as when you received fantastic news or accomplished something extraordinary. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as ecstatic include elated, overjoyed, thrilled, and euphoric. Example sentences: She was ecstatic when she found out she had won the lottery. His ecstatic reaction to the surprise party was priceless. Excited. Excited is an adjective. Excited means feeling enthusiastic and eager, often in anticipation of something enjoyable or important. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt excited, such as before a long-awaited trip or an upcoming celebration. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as excited include enthusiastic, eager, thrilled, and animated. Example sentences: She was excited about the opportunity to travel to a new country. His excited expression showed his anticipation for the big event. Frustrated. Frustrated is an adjective. Frustrated means feeling annoyed and upset due to difficulties or obstacles. Real-life scenario: recall a time when you felt frustrated, like when something didn't work as expected. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same as frustrated include annoyed, upset, and exasperated. Example sentences: She became frustrated when her computer froze in the middle of a project. His frustrated expression showed his annoyance with the constant delays. Grateful. Grateful is an adjective. Grateful means feeling thankful and appreciative for something or someone's help. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt grateful, like when a friend assisted you in a time of need. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same as grateful include thankful, appreciative, and indebted. Example sentences: She was grateful for her friend's support when she was sick. His grateful words expressed his thankfulness for the kind favor. Guilty. Guilty is an adjective. Guilty means feeling responsible for doing something wrong or making a mistake. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt guilty, such as after lying or breaking a promise. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same as guilty include culpable, ashamed, and regretful. Example sentences: She felt guilty for telling a lie to her parents. His guilty expression showed he knew he had made a mistake. Hopeful. Hopeful is an adjective. Hopeful means feeling optimistic and positive about the future. Real-life scenario: consider a time when you felt hopeful, like when you were waiting for good news or starting something new. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same as hopeful include optimistic, positive, and encouraged. Example sentences: She was hopeful that her hard work would lead to success. His hopeful outlook inspired those around him. Indifferent. Indifferent is an adjective. Indifferent means not having much interest or concern, often feeling apathetic. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt indifferent, like when you didn't care much about a specific topic. Synonyms: Other words that mean nearly the same as indifferent include apathetic, unconcerned, and uninterested. Example sentences. She appeared indifferent to the movie, not favoring it much. His indifferent reaction suggested he had no strong feelings about the outcome. Irritated. Irritated is an adjective. Irritated means feeling annoyed or bothered by something. Real-life scenario: recall a time when you felt irritated, such as when a persistent noise was bothering you. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same as irritated include annoyed, bothered, and aggravated. Example sentences. She became irritated by the constant ringing of her phone. His irritated response indicated he was annoyed by the repetitive questions. Jealous. Jealous is an adjective. Jealous means feeling envious or resentful of what someone else has. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt jealous, like when a friend had something you wanted. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same as jealous include envious, covetous, and resentful. Example sentences. She couldn't help but feel jealous of her friend's new car. His jealous glances revealed his envy of his sibling's success. Joyful. Joyful is an adjective. Joyful means feeling extremely happy and delighted. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt joyful, like during a celebration or a special occasion. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as joyful include happy, elated, and ecstatic. Example sentences. She was joyful on her birthday, surrounded by loved ones and laughter. His joyful laughter filled the room during the holiday gathering. Lonely. Lonely is an adjective. Lonely means feeling isolated and without companionship, often characterized by a sense of solitude. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt lonely, perhaps when you were far from home or during a quiet evening. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as lonely include isolated, alone, and solitary. Example sentences. She felt lonely during her first few days in a new city, missing her family and friends. His lonely walk on the beach allowed him to reflect on his thoughts and emotions. Nervous. Nervous is an adjective. Nervous means feeling anxious or apprehensive, often in anticipation of an event or situation. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt nervous, such as before a job interview or a public speaking engagement. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as nervous include anxious, worried, and jittery. Example sentences. She was nervous before her first big presentation at work. His nervous laughter revealed his unease at the party. Overwhelmed. Overwhelmed is an adjective. Overwhelmed means feeling completely inundated or overburdened, often due to a great number of tasks or emotions. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt overwhelmed, such as when you had too much work to do or when you faced a challenging situation. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as overwhelmed include swamped, burdened, and overloaded. Example sentences. She felt overwhelmed by the demands of her job and personal life. His overwhelmed expression indicated that he needed help managing the multiple tasks on his to-do list. Peaceful. Peaceful is an adjective. Peaceful means feeling calm, tranquil, and free from disturbance or conflict. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt peaceful, such as when you were surrounded by nature or engaged in a relaxing activity. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as peaceful include serene, harmonious, and quiet. Example sentences: she found a peaceful spot by the lake to enjoy the sounds of nature and unwind. His peaceful demeanor had a calming effect on those around him during times of stress. Pensive. Pensive is an adjective. Pensive means feeling deep in thought or reflective, often marked by a contemplative or reflective mood. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt pensive, like when you were quietly thinking about something important or remembering the past. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as pensive include thoughtful, reflective, and meditative. Example sentences: she had a pensive look on her face while sitting on the porch, lost in her thoughts. His pensive expression revealed his deep reflection on life's mysteries. Relieved. Relieved is an adjective. Relieved means feeling comforted and free from worry or stress. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt relieved, such as when you received good news after a period of uncertainty. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as relieved include comforted, eased, and calmed. Example sentences: she was relieved to hear that her loved one was safe after a worrisome situation. His relieved sigh indicated that a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. Satisfied. Satisfied is an adjective. Satisfied means feeling content and pleased with an outcome, often accompanied by a sense of fulfillment. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt satisfied, such as when you completed a challenging project or enjoyed a delicious meal. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as satisfied include content, fulfilled, and contented. Example sentences: she was satisfied with the results of her hard work and dedication. His satisfied smile indicated that he had achieved his goals. Scared. Scared is an adjective. Scared means feeling afraid or worried. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt scared, such as when you heard a strange noise in the dark. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as scared include afraid, nervous, frightened, and anxious. Example sentences: she was scared of the loud thunder during the storm. His scared expression showed his fear of the dark forest. Shy. Shy is an adjective. Shy means feeling nervous or uncomfortable around new people. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt shy, such as when you met new people and didn't know what to say. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as shy include bashful, timid, reserved, and nervous. Example sentences: she felt shy at the party and didn't talk much to strangers. His shy smile revealed his nervousness around unfamiliar faces. Stressed. Stressed is an adjective. Stressed means feeling very worried and tired because of a lot of work or problems. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt stressed, such as when you had too many tasks to complete. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as stressed include anxious, overwhelmed, worried, and tense. Example sentences: she was stressed before the big exam because she had so much to study. His stressed expression indicated the pressure of his demanding job. Surprised. Surprised is an adjective. Surprised means feeling shocked or amazed due to something unexpected. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt surprised, such as when you received a gift you didn't see coming. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as surprised include astonished, amazed, shocked, and taken aback. Example sentences: she was surprised by the unexpected birthday party her friends threw for her. His surprised expression revealed his astonishment at the sudden turn of events. Tired is an adjective. Tired means feeling like you need to rest or sleep because you've been active or working for a long time. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt tired, such as after a long day of work. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as tired include exhausted, weary, fatigued, and drained. Example sentences: she was tired after a long night of studying for her exams. His tired expression reflected the physical exhaustion from his challenging workout. Worried. Worried is an adjective. Worried means feeling anxious and concerned about potential problems or uncertainties. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt worried, such as when a loved one was late returning home. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as worried include anxious, concerned, nervous, and apprehensive. Example sentences: she was worried about her friend's safety as he had not arrived on time. His worried expression revealed his concern about the upcoming job interview. Curious. Curious is an adjective. Curious means you're interested and want to know more about something. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt curious, such as when you saw an interesting animal and wanted to learn more about it. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as curious include inquisitive, eager, interested, and desirous. Example sentences: she felt curious about the mysterious old book she found in the attic. His curious expression showed a strong desire to explore the hidden cave. Confident. Confident is an adjective. Confident means feeling sure of yourself and your abilities. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt confident, such as when you knew you could perform well in a game or activity. Synonyms: other words that mean nearly the same thing as confident include self-assured, self-confident, poised, and self-reliant. Example sentences: she was confident in her presentation skills and spoke eloquently. His confident demeanor made it clear that he was well prepared for the challenge. Hopeless. Hopeless is an adjective. Hopeless means you feel like there's no way to make things better. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt hopeless, such as when you couldn't find a solution to a difficult problem. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as hopeless, include desperate, defeated, powerless, and forlorn. Example sentences. She felt hopeless when her car broke down in the middle of nowhere. His hopeless expression reflected his inability to find his lost wallet. Confused. Confused is an adjective. Confused is when you don't understand something, and it makes you feel mixed up. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt confused, such as when you couldn't follow the directions given by someone. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as confused, include bewildered, puzzled, muddled, and disoriented. Example sentences. She was confused by the complex instructions and didn't know where to start. His confused expression showed his struggle to grasp the unfamiliar language. Amused. Amused is an adjective. Amused means you find something funny, and it makes you smile or laugh. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt amused, such as when you watched a funny movie. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as amused, include entertained, tickled, humored, and delighted. Example sentences. She was amused by the clever jokes told at the comedy show. His amused laughter echoed through the room as he watched the humorous video. Empathetic. Empathetic is an adjective. Empathetic means you can understand how others feel, and you care about their emotions. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you were empathetic, such as when a friend was sad, and you tried to comfort them. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as empathetic, include compassionate, sympathetic, understanding, and supportive. Example sentences. She was empathetic when her friend faced a difficult loss, offering comfort and support. His empathetic response to the co-worker's struggle showed his understanding and compassion. Contemplative. Contemplative is an adjective. Contemplative means you're deep in thought and thinking carefully about something. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you were contemplative, such as when you sat quietly and considered a major life decision. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as contemplative, include reflective, thoughtful, meditative, and introspective. Example sentences. She became contemplative as she gazed at the serene landscape, lost in deep thought. His contemplative expression indicated his inner reflection on the philosophical question. Optimistic. Optimistic is an adjective. Optimistic is when you're hopeful and positive about the future. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt optimistic, such as when you believed things would get better despite challenges. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as optimistic, include hopeful, positive, confident, and encouraging. Example sentences. She was optimistic about her ability to overcome obstacles and achieve her dreams. His optimistic outlook on life inspired those around him with its positive energy. Pessimistic. Pessimistic is an adjective. Pessimistic is the opposite of optimistic. It's when you think things will turn out badly, even if there's no proof they will. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you were pessimistic, such as when you expected a rainy day for a picnic. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as pessimistic, include negative, gloomy, doubtful, and cynical. Example sentences. She was pessimistic about the chances of success given the challenging circumstances. His pessimistic view of the future often cast a shadow on his otherwise cheerful group of friends. Insecure. Insecure is an adjective. Insecure means you're not confident about yourself, and you worry about what others think. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt insecure, such as when you were unsure about your appearance. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as insecure, include self-doubting, anxious, unconfident, and self-conscious. Example sentences. She felt insecure about her abilities, often questioning her own worth. His insecure behavior revealed his lack of self-confidence in social situations. Humbled. Humbled is an adjective. Humbled is when you feel modest and not proud. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you were humbled, such as when you admitted you made a mistake and apologized. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as humbled, include modest, meek, unpretentious, and unassuming. Example sentences. She was humbled by her failure, but determined to learn from her mistakes. His humbled apology to his friend showed his sincerity and willingness to make amends. Motivated. Motivated is an adjective. Motivated is when you feel determined and inspired to do something. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt motivated, such as when you had a goal and were eager to achieve it. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as motivated, include driven, ambitious, determined, and enthusiastic. Example sentences. She was motivated to excel in her studies and worked hard to achieve her academic goals. His motivated attitude in the gym was an inspiration to those around him, driving them to improve. Serene. Serene is an adjective. Serene means you're calm, peaceful, and not worried. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt serene, such as when you were by a quiet lake in the woods. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as serene, include peaceful, tranquil, calm, and untroubled. Example sentences. She found herself in a serene natural setting, away from the noise and stress of the city. His serene expression mirrored the tranquility of the meditation retreat. Discontent. Discontent is a noun. Discontent means you're unhappy with something in your life. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you felt discontent, such as when you were unsatisfied with your job. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as discontent, include dissatisfaction, displeasure, unhappiness, and disgruntlement. Example sentences. She harbored discontent about her living situation, wishing for a change. His discontent was visible in his persistent complaints about the company's policies. Disenchanted. Disenchanted is an adjective. Disenchanted means you're disappointed and let down by something you once believed in. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you were disenchanted, such as when a long-anticipated movie turned out to be a disappointment. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as disenchanted, include disillusioned, let down, disheartened, and cynical. Example sentences. She was disenchanted by the political promises that were never fulfilled. His disenchanted attitude toward romance stemmed from past heartbreaks. Resigned. Resigned is an adjective. Resigned means you've accepted something you don't like because you believe you can't change it. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you were resigned, such as when you realized a flight was delayed due to bad weather, and there was nothing you could do. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as resigned, include accepting, uncomplaining, stoic, and philosophical. Example sentences. She was resigned to the fact that her favorite event was cancelled and decided to make the best of it. His resigned attitude in the face of adversity earned him respect among his peers. Vivacious. Vivacious is an adjective. Vivacious means full of life, enthusiasm, and energy, often characterized by an animated and lively spirit. Real-life scenario: think about a person you know who is vivacious, someone who brightens up the room with their infectious energy and enthusiasm. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as vivacious, include lively, spirited, bubbly, and animated. Example sentences. She's a vivacious young girl who brings joy to everyone with her cheerful personality. His vivacious dance moves added an extra layer of excitement to the party. Sanguine. Sanguine is an adjective. Sanguine means being optimistic, hopeful, or confident, especially in difficult situations, and expecting a favorable outcome. Real-life scenario: think about a time when you or someone you know felt sanguine, like when facing a challenging problem with a positive outlook. Synonyms, other words that mean nearly the same thing as sanguine, include optimistic, confident, positive, and hopeful. Example sentences. Despite the setbacks, she remained sanguine about the project's success. His sanguine attitude in the face of adversity was a source of inspiration for the team. Thank you for being a part of our vocabulary journey where we've explored feelings, moods, and emotions. We hope you've grown your list of words and had fun on this adventure. As a strong recommendation, practice creating sentences for each word, imagining real-life situations. This will help you remember them better. Keep on learning and using these new words. Until we meet again, keep learning happily.